Hello, hi. So this is for video for group assignment for network operating system, and here is the details on the assignment. As we can see on the picture, the assignment need us to connect the host PC to the database, but not directly. The host PC need to connect to firewall first, and then the firewall will be connect to web server and then database. So basically on this assignment we need to create a web application. On the web application, the SQL file will be saved on the database VM, and on the web server is the Apache, and here the firewall will be act as a firewall basically, and as a port forwarding also. There's a few options how to set up this. Basically this is a internet network for the VM. I mean the what I want to say is how we want to connect it, basically from host PC to firewall. In our case, we use host PC to firewall basically as here as a bridge, which is we use the physical network, and for the rest of VM, basically the internal network, we use the NAT network. So as we know, on the bridge network, we use a default IP address from the host PC. For example, here I use on my PC, this is the IP address. So basically the bridge will be used the same IP address, not exactly the same, but the network. So the network will be 192.168 and 0.0 the network. So when I create a firewall, it should be same network, but the IP may be slightly different, maybe 155 or 100, something like that. From here I just use a straightforward NAT network to connect for both, no, not both, 3 of the VM. Okay, first we start with the web server. Sorry. So on the web server, first we need to install the HTTPD and also the MariaDB, also with the PHP file, PHP MySQL. After that, we need to enable the HTTPD, the MariaDB. Also, we need to restart the firewall. And for double check our installation, everything, we can use the status check on all of the installation, for example. Before that, we need to basically log in to your root system for easier installation. So we see the running, then we check with the MariaDB. also running. So basically all system is green, it's good to go. And then after that, for MySQL, we need to do the MySQL installation. On my system, I already installed it, so basically it's already on the system. After that, we do simple configuration, which is identify the file. Basically, for my web application, I already create it, and then I download it. After that, I transfer all the file to the var www html. Basically, it's the default file, default directory for HTTPD. So any web application we want to running, we need to move to the HTML directory. So when you invoke the HTTPD, it will read the file at the HTML. Here HTML, and then we do ls. So here is the list of the file. Here this is a config file, create. This is the file for web application. So we can check one of it. For example, index.php. So this is the HTML file, the PHP. So before that, the web application that I create is to create a database for basically this is the setup file for HTML. Okay, here we quit. Okay. And then after that, basically is the installation on the basic installation on the web server. And after that, after we config, first we need to config. On the config file, we need to config the IP address on the DB server. Here on the DB server, this is important because this will be the point how your web application to load the SQL file. Here, see the IP address. This is the IP address for the database, and the username and password basically is the default. And DB name is the name of the database you want to load from the SQL. And before that, before we proceed, we start with the database server. On database, you also need to install the setup for the database. Here we only need to install the MariaDB, the PHP. We doesn't need the HTTPD because it will be loaded from the web server. So here is only need for the SQL. So we install, same procedure. After that we restart the firewall. Also we need to install the MySQL secure installation, and after that we can check the IP address. Here we can see for the database the IP address is 10.0.2.15. Same IP address we put here on the configuration. And after that, on database we can start to create the database for SQL file that we want to use with the web application. Put the command and the password is root, and then you can check the list of database by put command, show database, here is the list of the database inside the SQL. And if you want to use the database that you choose, you put use data, and see it's reading the table. So in here, in data, I already create the tables. I can show the tables. Here is the details of the table that I use. Basically, the web application will get the input from the website. Basically, a salary, the location, and the name. For example, this is the input for the table that I use. It's standard for create the MariaDB MySQL, and I already create a table. And for the web application, the data is okay. This is instruction, the command to see the table that I create. I already put a few input for testing. Okay, this is the simple input for testing. This is the name of my teammates. Okay, now we proceed with adding the port for use in the database. So you put this on the command and on the database for adding the port, and here we use the 3306/TCP as a port in database. So here you can see it's already enabled and already used in public on the database. Next, we need to add it as a permanent. If not, after we reboot of the system, it will be reset to default. So we need to add as a permanent. See, it's already permanent. You can check it. Yeah, you can see the port is 3306 TCP. Basically, on the database we already finished the setup. Now we back to the web server. Escape. Okay, now after we config the file, we need to check the HTTPD list. Okay, it's the HTTPD. In here we need to make sure on the HTTPD CAN network connect is on. On the first time you insert this command, basically the HTTPD CAN network connect is off. Same with the HTTPD CAN network connect DB also off. So what we can do to turn it on, we use this command. So paste here, make sure, because if we change it to 0 it will be off, but if you turn it to 1 it will be on. Just simple, very simple. Same with the DB, we just need to add it, and then after that we need to add the forwarding port on the web server, since it will be forwarding the access. So success, and then we add the reach rule. Sorry. For the reach rule, basically here, this is the IP address for the host PC. What we want is here on the internal network is private network. So the host PC cannot access on the internal network except through the firewall. By adding the reach rule, we can block the host PC IP address. So it's success. We already blocked the host PC IP address. On the PC host terminal, you can see this is the IP address for the host PC. That exactly intended to block it. Since we already finished both of the web server and database setup, we can try load the web application from the database. Okay, index 10.0.2. So 10.0.2.14 slash index PHP. The index PHP basically is the dashboard for the web application, and 10.0.2.14 basically is the web server IP address. So because we read the HTTPD from the web server, so we need to invoke the IP address. So it will be invoked here, but the database will be from the database server. Here you can see the example that I already put the input, so you can try the application. Try input my name, so Selangor, salary, let's say we want to add, so we proceed with submit. So here you can see the table we already update, and example here we want to add another record for employee, or we just want to cancel, it will be back to the main page. So basically we successful to connect the connection from web server to the database. If you not success, basically we need to, if you try to load but unsuccessful, we can check through the ping. For example, here I already add the database and web server in the NAT network, so basically I can ping each other. So I try ping database, database. So I get the feedback from the database. It's same with vice versa from here also. I can try to ping web server. So sorry, can try to ping web server from here. So you get the feedback from the web server also. So now we already finished and we already successful connected these two VM. Now we need to set up the firewall.